On this episode of the Rebrand Review, we're talking about rugs, wool, and if you're in America, yarn.
We're about to unpick this thread.
I'm Tony Hardy, founder and director of Canny Creative.
I'm Glen, creative director here at Canny.
And today we're talking about the brand Tuft, which is an online shop responsible for custom tufted rugs. There's been a big boom around these rugs in the States especially, but also I know some friends, but I know some people that have been making rugs recently. Yeah. There's a massive explosion around this handcrafted rug making thing. I think during COVID especially, it's come back to the forefront. Yeah. And Tuft, basically, they sell rug tufting machines. They make sustainable yarn or wool in the UK. And the rebrand has been designed by?
It's been designed by Lucy Price and Melissa McFeeters. Apologies if that name is absolutely pronounced wrong, but yeah, Melissa McFeeters.
And it's a job well done, to be honest. Like, it looks great, and to be honest, I'm just glad that old logo is gone, because that pink on pink, it looks like some sort of bad personal trainer's Instagram.
Yeah, it's rough.
It is rough. The new logo is much better. They've taken inspiration from Tuft in itself. It's like wavy and organic. Yeah. It feels like natural.
Yeah, it looks crafty as well.
It does look crafty.
They've got obviously the wavy, as you say, the wavy shapes. They seem to have a lot of badges. They seem to have multiple different types of logos that they've brought in.
It's definitely appropriate. Like, you can tell it's by makers for makers.
Yeah.
Like, it's very undeniably makery and crafty looking. They've brought in, I think they've created this Tuft font. It's super wavy, it's super interesting. It's definitely not, it's not from the corporate world that we would normally cover on Rebrand Review. It's something definitely interesting there.
And it's very far away from what they've had.
And it's a big departure.
They've went very much revolution rather than an evolution. It's a total departure from.
So one of the things that works really well with the Tuft rebrand is that they can take the type, they can take the shapes, and they make up these badges. They've got executions where there's a diamond with the word Tuft in it, there's circles, there's triangles, and everything just kind of like, essentially I'm looking at this almost like a make your own Tuft logo, which I think is probably what they were going for.
Yeah.
It gets a little contrived. There's an application where they use a badge, like a typical shield badge shape inside of the word Tuft, but they use it as a U, and then that looks a little bit complex. You can imagine that being difficult to use, but honestly there's so many other applications that I don't think they'll need to replicate that too much.
Yeah. I mean, I think the colours as well, when you look at all them different badges, again, it speaks to that sort of organic feel. They're all natural colours, they're all toned down, there's no bright RGB colours there. No. It all speaks to, obviously, being organic and elements like that.
This is another brand for me that's veering too close on the clash. Like, again, looking at Spotify and eBay, they've got them clashy colours. Tuft kind of do that. There's a few colours there that do clash, but this is nowhere near as offensive to me. It works slightly better than the rest.
Yeah, I think the lack of RGB colours just allow it to sink in a little bit and not be as
blue on purple, which I think works really nicely. They're not just putting two horrible colours together and calling that a colour palette.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is that's a big improvement. Now the applications are really interesting. Like this user manual, they've rolled out a user manual for the tufting machines, and if you've ever designed a user manual, you'll know it's a pretty difficult task. It's a lot of information to convey, but they've done it.
All I can see from here is I just think of, do you remember the little Airfix models used to do? It looks like a blueprint, and I think it just gives it so much character, because you have the proper blueprints, then you have these nice like organic fonts and serif fonts that come with it, and they've done it a little bit different on like the green with the blue rather than just being totally white. I think it just works really well.
And it is hard to design user manuals, so to pull this together and have it looking so good, it's just a hat tip to them, because it's bloody excellent. Yeah. And alongside all of this, they've got a whole host of illustrated stuff. I think they're using illustrations to accompany words, to accompany important things. All of that hand-drawn, sketchy kind of feel works well. And they've released a range of enamel pins, and every designer loves enamel pins. I don't know a designer in the world that doesn't love an enamel pin.
I think the one illustration that you had a little bit of problem with was, I'm guessing, what is supposed to be the little world, but you seem to think it looks, and to be honest, the more I look at it now that you mentioned it, it looks a little bit like a virus, which, considering the times and what we've just came out of, possibly isn't the best thing.
I don't know if it does look like a virus, or I don't know if I'm so used to seeing virus imagery floating around the news and the media that I'm just preconditioned to think it does.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years ago it wouldn't have, but given what we've, like you say, what we've all just came through, I'm preconditioned to see virus everywhere. But in summary with the application, all of the yes, there's not a lot to dislike about it. The type really sings, the user manual looks great, the little illustrated elements really help, and of course, what is that, Glenn? What's the final application?
There is definitely a tote bag that they've done.
Always a tote. In this case, the tote's completely relevant. People carry wool, yarn around in totes. Crafty maker people carry totes. It's not just there for the sake of it this time.
Well done, Tuft, for being the only brand that actually uses tote bags.
In summary, it's super crafty in its make-alike, and it's absolutely bang on for the audience.
Yeah, I think the colours work really well, other than it being veering a little bit towards what Tony doesn't like in terms of the clashes, but I do think it sits really well with who they are.
The applications are great. The logo mark with the virus is possibly the only slightly dark cloud for me, but again, that is probably just more a sign of the times than bad design. It's definitely not bad design. It looks fantastic. Let's score this thing. Thinking in concept, I love the way they've integrated the world of crafting and tufting into the logo. 4.5 out of 5.
Visual representation, we went with a big old 5. I think it just looks brilliant, like all the way they do it.
Brand mark, we've marked this down to a 3 because of that virus thing and because of the use of a shield within the logo. It's, that can be tricky and challenging.
Typography, we went with a 4. Again, this typography works really well with what they're trying to put across. They've got that nice serif. It looks organic and it feels great.
And the colour palette, for me, for once, I could say it's one of those colour palettes that I actually quite do like. It doesn't have any horrible colours bashed together. 4, bringing the grand total to 4.1 out of 5. A great score for the Tuft rebrand. And that's it. I've been Tony Hardy.
I've been Glen Millen.
This has been Rebrand Review. We'll see you next time. Like, comment, subscribe below.